You're live.
So before
Are
we
we
start,
assigning
I'm
this
sorry.
partially as part of the meeting? or
I
is it
told these
supposed to
guys we
be
can be a little bit fluid tonight because they're being
Oh.
thrown under the bus.
Oh, they'll let you know.
when to do it?
I feel bad.
Imagine, probably before we do anything else.
Ready?
We can't do anything else unless we're sworn in.
Yes, well, we're gonna do one thing.
Okay.
Good evening, it's 6:34, we're gonna call the meeting of the Board of Education to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We'll administer the oath of office to the superintendent of schools. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of superintendent of schools according to the best of my ability.
and I will faithfully
Discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office of superintendent of schools according to the best of my ability.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Check, check. Now we will swear in our new board members. Okay, so it's still your oath. Sorry, repeat after me. Okay. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Board of Education member
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Board of Education member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Okay. I'll just sign there. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties as Board of Education member
and I will faithfully discharge the duties as Board of Education member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome. Okay.
Get your steps in tonight.
Swear the district clerk. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties as district clerk
and I will faithfully discharge the duties as district clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Okay. Now we will take a nomination for the election of the school board president.
I would like to nominate Samantha Hicks for president.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Congratulations, Samantha Hicks is the president.
Oh, we're just doing that right now?
We are doing that.
All right, good thing it's a
You're on.
Because you are taking the rest of the meeting. That's all you
And I will swear you in as the president.
Yeah.
I will present you.
Yeah, let's take that.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties as president of the Board of Education
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties as President of the Board of Education
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Sign that, and I'll sign them after the meeting. Here.
And now I call for nominations for vice president, correct?
I'll make a motion. I'll nominate, I will nominate. As Bisway for vice president of the school board. I will second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Oh, vote.
Yeah, we have to.
You're in.
All right. After I take the oath.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties as Vice President of the Board of Education
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties as Vice President of the Board of Education
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities. Thank you.
That's Michelle.
Oh, that's Michelle.
She already did. She already checked.
So you pass it to Jim. All right.
We're gonna appoint board members to 4 separate committees, so I need motion to approve, or can we need to put forth a slate?
Oh, you do both? Okay.
So I can
Yeah.
bring forward these nominations of exactly the names, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should probably that on, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like a motion to approve to appoint the 3 board members to serve on the audit committee: Adam Stewart, Jess DeFiore, sorry, I won't do it again, and Michelle Garofalo. Any motion?
I will make motion.
Thank you, I need a
I'll second.
And Jess seconds. All those in favor? Passes. Okay. Motion to approve to appoint the 3 board members to the policy committee. That's going to be myself, Samantha Hicks, Jessie Zweig, and Jess DeFiore. Figure that out. A motion to approve, Michelle first,
I'll second.
Jess second. All those in favor? Aye, passes unanimously. Okay, motion to approve to appoint 2 board members to the facility committee, Megan McGarry and Michelle Garofalo. Can I make the first one? Yeah, Jess White. Oh boy, okay, Jessie White makes the first. Jess is gonna second. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. And finally approve to appoint 2 board members to the safety committee, Jackie Drasky and Megan McGarry. A motion to approve.
I'll motion.
Michelle first and Jessie second. All those in favor? Passes unanimously.
Great.
Jess and Jessie.
Okay.
Jim, do I turn number 5 over to you for goals?
You need a motion to discuss them?
No, we don't need a motion to discuss them.
Discuss
If we're gonna adopt them, then we need a
Yeah.
motion. So I'll make a motion, we adopt,
Okay, we don't need to have that.
and we have a second,
Okay, so
and then you
Jessie,
can do a discussion after that.
okay, so Jessie is making a first motion to adopt, and then second.
We don't know.
Well, he will present them,
Oh,
but
okay.
you have to have a motion on the table to be able to discuss it.
Okay.
So which is why you need the first and second.
It's not in the.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
second.
okay.
So we have a first by Jessie, we just need a second to open discussion.
Michelle.
That's Michelle Garofalo, discussion of district goals.
Sure, so we're asking the board to, once again, approve our district goals. We've done this, I think, each of my years that I've been here. The goals have been the same, which we appreciate. Goals 1 and 2 in particular have been the exact same. And goal 3, we changed 2-3 years ago now. It's the one that deals with digital fluency. It used to be data, but we feel like that was institutionalized, so we moved it to the data fluency piece based on some new standards that were coming down to making sure that we were in good shape there. Other than that, the goals are very consistent the same. And as the returning members of the board know, they have been used for the building levels to determine and come up with their SMART objectives and their action steps. So we are trying very hard to vertically align what we're doing. So board's goals become my goals, and then become the objectives that are adopted at the building level by our learning teams, and then from there become the action steps that are actually used by the teachers as they do their work in their meetings, all focused on student results.
Can we say those two?
I was just gonna say, can you just
I can. I'll bring them up just so I don't make sure I have the wording properly.
Do you need to come in? Do you need the agenda?
Anyway, there we go. One is who graduates college and career ready. Two is who will productively engage in their school community. And three, students will be digitally fluent by demonstrating the ability to live productively and safely in a technology-influenced society. So again, 1 and 2 are the ones that we've had. One dealing with college and career readiness, and the one dealing with productively engaging in the school community. 3, the one with digital fluencies.
Right, because that used to be,
That was the data one.
that and the digital, it used to be like familiar with digital tools, and now it's fluent. And
No, it's, the
Productively
wording's
and
been the
safely.
same since we changed it.
And technology
Digital.
influence.
you know, when-
Question?
no, there's a- so we can take a vote to adopt, again, for this year, these 3 goals. Yep. All those in favor? And that's unanimous. Okay, consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Jesse first and Jess second. Any discussion? And should I give any sort of background, like what's in?
Do you guys have any questions on that? Where are we?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
We are at, no, my apologies,
No, I know where we are on our yellow sheet.
the yellow sheet, number 6. So these are all items that we approve all.
Oh, you're approving all of them.
All of them
Right,
at once,
so we
don't go.
approve in one sweeping motion, we can approve A through W, because that's the whole, the motion is to approve the entire consent agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I know it's a little confusing.
If we are good, we can take a vote. Or did you, we're good? All those in favor? That's unanimous. Okay, we have resolutions. So they're here. Because I can't-
Yeah, but they're here.
Okay, so, I need it, so, right, so
That's okay.
we can start discussion after the
Yeah.
resolution. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm like forgetting this from like 3 weeks ago. I need a motion to approve the resolution. Approve upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the assistant superintendent for business, hereby designated as an individual pursuant to New York State labor law, section 220, who shall collect and facially review any certified payrolls submitted to the school district by contractors or subcontractors pursuant to section 220. So we just need a motion
I'll make a
to
motion.
Jess and then Michelle seconds. Any discussion?
No discussion. It's like a form, it's
Yeah,
like a formality to make sure
okay.
that Carrie's in charge of payroll.
Well, it's the contractor's payroll, so make sure
Oh,
that our
contractors.
contractors are doing prevailing wage work is essentially what it's for.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry.
Sorry. No,
That's all good.
all those in favor? The resolution passes. So 7B, I need a motion to approve the Averill Park Central School District. Hereinafter, the district is a participant in the statewide excess insurance purchasing cooperative an intermunicipal cooperative organized and operated pursuant to Section 50, Sub 3A and 4 of the New York State Workers' Compensation Law and Section 119(0) of the New York State General Municipal Law hereinafter plan. The district will continue to participate in the plan for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. So first is Jess, second is Jesse, and any discussion?
No.
Okay. All those in favor? That's unanimous. And 7C, a motion to approve the resolution under the general municipal law, section 5B. The board authorizes the district to accept funds via the district website or the website of a third-party vendor that the district has contracted with to receive such payments on its behalf. A motion to approve this resolution. Michelle first, Jesse second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously. So it's informational.
Yep.
I turn it over to Jim,
Yep.
correct, for the safety plan.
Yeah.
But then are we, okay, so the safety plan is part of the reorg meeting and then we'll adjourn. So,
Is it?
No,
Right,
the
isn't
safety plan, this is just information.
oh, upon conclusion,
So
okay,
that it's documented somewhere that we're doing it.
okay.
So you can simply just read the informational note and then you can adjourn.
So just 8A, safety plan hearing is gonna take place immediately upon conclusion of the reorganizational meeting. And at this point, I can adjourn the reorganizational meeting. I have a
Motion to adjourn the reorg meeting.
Jesse and Jess, and all those in favor, unanimous to adjourn the reorg meeting, or reorganizational meeting.
Yeah.
It's out of words. Okay. Jim, I'll turn it over.
Great, thank you very much. Excuse me. So, for the board and any public that is watching, there's two hearings that we are required to do over the summer. One is the code of conduct and two is the safety plan. The code of conduct is only if there are changes of substance to it. This year, we do not have any changes of substance to the code of conduct, therefore there's no hearing. So you'll have that before you at the August meeting for approval. We approve it every year, that's got to be approved over the summer for the following year, so it's ready to go for September. We have made pretty substantive changes in the last, I don't remember anymore, probably 2-3 years ago. So it's been pretty closely worked, updated, reviewed by our attorneys, so it's in pretty good shape. We always ask for feedback from administrators prior to making any changes. And for this year at least, we do not have any changes. The hearing that we do have for you is the safety plan. So there are really two sets. There's the district level and there's the building level. The district safety plan is the one that's public. That's the one that we can review and talk about publicly. The building plans you were given privately, they were not shared per the regulation with the public because of the information that gets given. They're kept private, so it'll be more specific, and we don't discuss those typically in public and not allowed to actually. So in terms of the hearing, the changes that we have, and I think Kate Dorgan, Kate is among her many hats, takes care of our safety and serves as our administrator in charge of safety. We do have some changes, nothing crazy, nothing of major substance. Really, if you're looking at the safety plan at district level, page 6, just an updated listing of preventative programs and interventions. So we are constantly looking at that list to make sure that we're keeping it updated with what we're doing. As you may imagine, things kind of change. Some things get phased out, some things get added. In this case in particular, we have an expanded partnership with the START Center. It's about family engagement services. You're going to see that contract at the August meeting. It's actually just received by the START Center and has been reviewed and approved by Jeff, our attorney, literally a few hours ago. So we'll have that for you. I'll sign that and get the tape for the August meeting. And then second step, which is a new program for elementary, 6th grade as well, K6, social emotional skills based lessons being utilized by elementary counselors and grade 6 teachers at Algonquin. So those are just, again, some of the programs that as we talk about safety, it's for us all encompassing and pretty comprehensive and involves many areas. Other than that, Appendix C has been added. It fulfills a new requirement by the state to include a remote learning plan. I know Kate worked closely with Matt on that. Obviously, due to the COVID pandemic, we have a remote plan now, and it's been detailed and tweaked, and that is now included in the plan. The plan, also has the SRO contract, which has now been updated. We have our third SRO contract ready to go for this year. The last one expired on June 30th, so the document now has the new contract in it. And there's some other very minor wording changes that were made just to be less redundant and keep things cleaned up. In terms of the building plans, I'll just kind of say that really we just kind of took the responses, reordered some things. The most common things are first, we continue to upgrade, increase the specificity as we continue to go through these and hash these things out. We do a ton of drills, tabletop exercises. It's something that we're constantly discussing, so we're just kind of always adding degrees of being more specific to that. And we've added some stuff in terms of transportation, building grounds. So again, trying to expand the role of safety in different areas. So that's really it. Nothing of significance. Again, kind of keeping the document. The goal of it by the state is to keep that as a live document. And we try to do that not just from a compliance, check the box mentality, but from an actual thorough vetting of that document. And again, I thank Kate. She has taken this area over and has jumped into the minutia and details of that plan and all of our safety work, and has really made us a lot more efficient and effective. So thank you to her for her work on that. And that's it. Any questions or comments in the public?
I just had one question. I was just wondering, like what the kind of description or parameters would be for what would constitute an emergency day that would turn to remote learning.
Yeah, I think there's not really, as far as I know, a specific, and not jump in if I misspeak, a specific definition for that. I think it's really up to superintendent discretion. Typically, obviously we've had them for the COVID type stuff in the pandemic. We also had them do power outages. There could be a variety of
Use up snow days.
used up snow days. That's a good one, right? We had that when the state changes, so you could go remote and save snow days and not use up vacation days. So there's a variety of things, I guess, that could fit under that box. Obviously, we try not to use it, even to the extent of we are in the process now, actually, to discuss it at our capital project meeting this morning. We are switching this building over to a generator, it has an emergency generator, or expanding the ability of this generator to take our network stuff. As we learned through this past winter, the network and phones were not on that generator. So when we lost power here, it prevented us from being able to have school in other buildings potentially. So we're working on that. The new capital project has in it a generator for the building, but that is next summer's work. So after next summer, we'll have a full generator working here. But that could be a possibility as well, something along those lines.
If we don't have any further discussion, we can now go into our regular meeting.
We've closed the hearing. I will just say there's a 30-day comment period, so people are aware of that. And any questions, thoughts, comments can be sent to the district clerk, to Linda, and we'll compile any responses, respond to people as needed, and one way or another have before you at the August meeting, not only the plan for the district, but the plan for the building, as well as the safety team will all be, per the regulations, approved by the board in August. That's it.
Thank you. Okay. I would like to call to order the July 5, 2023 meeting of the Averill Park Board of Education. Seeing as we already did the diligence, we don't have to do that, correct? So this meeting is called to order, and we'll go straight to the superintendent's report.
right, thank you. I'm just going to bring this up for you here.
You can do it from your desk.
We can. It's never failed me before. Oh, that's my fault. That's user error. That's me. Hold on a second. Oh, man. We decided to play around with this tonight. Usually we're up there. We can do it from there and it's connected. And we said, let's use the Vivi. But that's me. Clicking on the wrong thing. Matt's, I'm guessing Matt's above my left shoulder and Matt's about it. I swear he did that. Oh, I clicked it. That's me. That is total user error. We can start now, Terry, too.
I was gonna say, thanks for waiting.
That was on purpose, Terry.
Was it on purpose?
We're just starting the regular meeting, so you're just open.
Oh, you already did the public comments?
No,
No,
No.
no, the
we did
hearing.
the reorg and the hearing.
Oh, the reorg
Zero
of law,
later.
Yeah, and then the safety,
the thing that I do this.
or safety plans.
Oh, there we go. There's some.
All right.
I'll
There
work
we
on
go.
that for you. Might be me.
Yeah. We're gonna see if we're gonna continue doing it from here. We're gonna give thought we'd give it a shot today to see. So we have a rather brief report, but did want to highlight a few things. I'm very happy to announce that we won 3 National Communications Awards from the National School Public Relations Association. You can see some categories there and the 3 things that we won for. All the credit for this obviously goes to Brian. He's the man behind the curtain in terms of our social media footprint, which we know, factually, data speaking, is through the roof in terms of what we post and the number of hits that we get on that stuff and the size of our footprint. And these are some nice awards that we're pretty proud of. So we want to thank Brian for his work, as well as the host of the podcast, who I heard does a fantastic job. The second, do you have a question there?
No, oh, yeah, I do, actually.
Oh, back there.
Yep, so the magazine, is that our district magazine that like entices people to come here?
Yeah.
And like Gardner Pickens? Okay.
Yep.
And then,
So that one, just for people's reminder, that is something that I keep saying brand new, but I'm forgetting that I'm beginning year 7 now. That's something we started with that was really meant to communicate to people who might be considering moving here or considering attending school for a variety of reasons, whether they're in some of our zones where you have some choices or whether or not you're considering private school, public school, those type of things. So we developed a magazine. It is literally the only one I'm aware of that is out there like that. We give it to real estate agents. We get it out. It's on our website. And Brian does a phenomenal job really selling that and getting it out to people. So it's a very nice color, yearly updated magazine.
okay, and I do love the podcast. But the second question I have is this high school profile. What, is that online? Is that a physical document too? Or what is that high school profile that we received a merit award in?
I believe it's available online, and I believe it's available as a hard document that's used by the high school, again, for, my understanding is for students as they go through the application process, you have a school profile, and I believe it's that document.
Okay.
Or the application to college.
Yeah.
Other things, yeah.
Schools will ask for your school
Yeah.
profile.
Okay.
The last one I saw was 2019. I don't know if there's one more current than that, but it's like a nice 2-page. It lists like all the colleges that the kids go to and a bunch of the courses that are offered. It's like a nice summary of
How
what
our
the school offers.
students are doing.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
No, those are good questions. Wanted to highlight the end of the year food bank partnership. Again, something that keep wanting to say is new, but it's not new anymore. It's actually been around for a while. But this is from our partners at the food bank, and it was just a summary of our backpack program. That's what BEP stands for. You can see the total number of bags distributed, our average weekly enrollment, the amount of food distributed in terms of pounds, equivalent meals, and then maybe throughout the year per child, and the average weight in bags. So again, something we appreciate. We have many faculty and staff and administrators who support this program through our paycheck process. We have many people who send us money and donate money and raise money, some of our clubs and activities. So the program is thankfully well-funded and is extremely well subscribed. Our AP Connections kids do a great job getting those bags ready to go. We appreciate the work they do. Our transportation department goes and gets the stuff and brings it to us. So it really is a pretty wide-ranging team effort, but it's kind of nice when you get this yearly email to see the true benefit it's having on kids and families. And as part of this, and Megan Beauchamp down at West Sand Lake is the initiator of this. We've expanded this program to do a summer program as well here for the first time. In the past, we've kind of tried to communicate to families options that are available to them in the community, but this year we decided to try and kind of take it on through some volunteers and some work. So Megan's spearheading that, working with Camille to try and get that out and continue meeting this obvious need in our community.
Can you just briefly describe how it works, how it's distributed?
Well, my question was, how far?
So that let me know if I'm not answering your questions. The food bank runs the program, right? What we do is we have money that goes, actually donate the money directly to them. They have an account for us. It's set up. We have different accounts for different levels. The food is gathered there. One member of our transportation department goes and gets the food, brings it back. It's brought to the high school here, our AP Connections kids. We'll actually put the food in the bags to get them ready for distribution. And then on Fridays, I believe it is, the bags are given to families, given to students. Again, we have two different programs really running here. We have the backpack program and we have the food pantry program. The food pantry is geared more towards the middle school and high school. Backpack is towards the elementary. And students are identified either by families who ask, or of course our counselors, principals, nurses very much know who's kind of most in need and can kind of suggest and get the information to people. And then food is given to them pretty discreetly, pretty subtly. It's the whole plan in terms of how it's done. And it's kind of a weekly ongoing process. I don't know if that kind of summarizes.
But I think it's important for the public to know that the kids go, like especially elementary schools, they go home for the weekend with food for them and themselves and their families that need it. And I think that's super important because, when you need it, you need it. And that we have that in place.
It's easier, but then when people are hungry.
Yes. And then finally, this was just our little article, I won't read it to everyone, but this is from NISCUS, New York State Council of School Superintendents. Our division of budget, state division budget is now forecasting a $9 billion structural deficit for 24-25. This was in board notes, so you've seen this, but I think the paragraph 2 there, where a year ago, the plan projected no structural deficit, right? And now this new plan is forecasting a pretty large one for 24-25, and then gaps in each of the following years there of 13 billion. It talks about the projected revenue decline. We won't go all through the gloom and doom, but talks about projections that were out there and kind of where we're headed.
What exactly is that for?
This is from the state. And so this is New York State's Division of Budget projecting revenues and shortfalls for the statewide budget. So obviously the impact on that for us is the state funding.
So that's statewide.
Yeah.
So the state's not gonna have enough money to cover its expenses, which to us then means less state funding for the school district.
Could certainly draw that connection.
How far in advance do we know how much funding we're gonna get, or if we're gonna not get all of the funding that we're supposed to?
The governor's budget is the first once that we get that, and that comes out in January. So that's the first time we'll see any indication of like the stadium runs.
That's the proposed budget, right?
Yeah. Yep, so that's the first real look that we'll get.
So in January, we'll know for the following September, or how far ahead?
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
have like 9 months notice if we're gonna get
Right, so with that information we get in January, then it gets like refined through like the legislative process, because they go back and forth in negotiations. That's what we use to develop the budget throughout the spring. That will go into effect July 1st and for the next school year. So it's not gonna affect this year, but that's already locked in. It'll be next year as we start looking at the budget development.
How do you know, how do you know how much of that trickles down to each district?
We don't know yet until we get those projections, when the governor starts developing the next budget.
That's scary.
Well, it's scary because remember, we get those numbers, we're building the budget during that time. Right, so if you were devising a system, I don't think you would devise it as
Without knowing for sure
Right.
all your variables?
So-
Yeah, that makes total.
We start in the past, depending on where I've been, you'll see the budget process start as early as November, December. We try not to have any real budget conversations until January, 'cause it's just causing angst and stress that is unnecessary at that point. But we really dive into it in January, at the same time the state is doing their work, right? So you start getting that information, but we're building our budget. You're gonna have your first budget presentation at the January meeting. We're gonna come to you with an outlook for the non-instructional side. Then the next one in February is the instructional side. Then it's some of the numbers regarding like tax cap and aid. This is all in January and February. The budget's not due until April 1st.
Right.
So the state is
assuming it's
building
on
that
time.
budget. If it's on time, it's coming down April 1. Well, by April 1, we've already made 98% of our decisions, right? Because we have to have the budget adopted by April, 15th-ish, 20th. So by
So that
regulation,
people can vote in May.
right. So you kind of have to backwards design all that stuff. So you get that May vote, you go back with the amount of time, and there's set dates that we have to hit. So the whole, building the plane while it's in the air type of analogy, it is very fitting in this case. So you get stuff like this, and I try and always pass it on, at least to the board, sometimes during the meetings, to let people know what we're hearing, right? Because we have groups like this case, which is the superintendent's group, or school boards, and that's what they do. They lobby and have their kind of ear to the ground with this stuff. So as we get this information, we try to pass that along, just so you have an idea of what we're hearing and kind of what's in the cards, right? Sometimes, as you can see, it changes. The last projection said everything was fine. This one says they have a structural deficit of, $9 billion. So it changes like that as well, right? So
So what happened this year, because the budget was late? When did you get final numbers versus when the board had to vote? I can't remember.
They were pretty final this year when we got the January runs. They changed slightly because of the rate of inflation, but there was a promise made a couple of years ago to fully fund the foundation aid, so everybody's numbers were pretty much determined this year relatively early
Okay.
because of that. So now the promise going into next year, that promise has been fulfilled, so we don't know what the increases are gonna be. So you just don't know.
So in theory, we're supposed to get the 3.9%, but there's also a deficit, so we're potentially not even guaranteed to get that.
Right.
I know. It's me.
I know,
I mean, I'm understanding, we get those, like, we're talking once. Like, that's it, that's all the notice.
Best case scenario, you have 5 months because we vote in May, the community.
the community, we have to adopt it in,
Really 4 months, yeah.
yeah, we have to adopt our budget a month before it goes out to the voters.
It's hard, but these are big numbers, it's hard to figure out how that actually affects each district, like I can't,
Yeah,
We drew the short bit in the last one, right? We got,
well, that's
Yeah,
what we're at,
that's
the 3.9.
3.9.
yeah,
so.
hold harmless.
And it's not just school funding, remember, it's, Medicaid, Medicare, it's like all state programs. So this isn't just like just for schools, it's for statewide programs, state workers, it's for the entire.
Who decides what percentage gets reduced for what program?
The governor and the legislature through their budget negotiations.
So it could really sway pretty substantially this coming year.
It could.
Good. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what the climate's like as the year goes on.
And I think the part that I highlighted up there, you can see it, as noted, and this is what we've talked a lot about prior to you two coming on, is there's this formula, right, the foundation aid formula, that,
It's broken.
without going too into the weeds, there was a fiscal equity, there was a lawsuit, this whole formula was derived, it's old, it's antiquated. Per that formula, we were overfunded, right? According to the formula. The push this year was to fully fund the formula, which was great for everyone except for these districts that were perceived to be overfunded or who were gonna get less than 3%. That's where we were somewhere like around 1%, I think. So we got the whole harmless 3%, but what we've been hearing pretty clearly since then is everyone's getting this giant windfall, right? 10, 15, 20%, whatever increases, that going forward in the eyes of the state, it's now fully funded, so don't expect any of these big numbers anymore. Expect somewhere closer to that 3%. You can see here, the financial plan is a 3.9 in total aid, but as it says, absent formula changes, future increases in foundation aid will moderate significantly due to completion of the fully funding phasing and slowing of inflation.
So a lot of schools are getting a huge chunk of change that they're basically gonna try to spread out over the next couple of years to compensate for the fact that it's gonna be a lot lower after that initial year.
Yeah, but they really can't, you have to use it in that year, so they can't really spread it out
But
necessarily.
you could
unless
buy
they
a
put it
lot
in
of
the
things,
fund balance.
a lot like, or,
Yeah,
maybe a lot of
there's things you could do, I guess.
but the point, we didn't get that,
We didn't
right?
get
So
it,
that,
yeah, so. But anyway, just wanted to make sure we were kind of communicating that, so. That was the report.
So that
And
non-affiliates everything, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's the, yeah.
No, I
That's
know
the
it's the whole
state.
state, but that's not the school.
Yeah, that's the whole state budget,
Everything.
the whole state budget.
That's not
but I didn't use it.
the whole school system.
Another rookie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Right. But that.
Yeah, but some might.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
spread that kind of deficit around.
Right. Well, it'll be shared by everybody.
Equally?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, not even, but just education budget compared to Medicaid and all the other programs.
I couldn't back out. But I-
Sorry. All right.
All right, so good work,
Let's
video.
celebrate some success. We can talk more. Bring it back
I
up.
don't think I want to.
Let's make you feel better.
That's okay.
That was not me.
Basketball song.
All right, so that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thanks, Jim. Ended on a high note.
Bring it back.
We are the first public comment period for this meeting. This session of public comment is limited to topics on this evening's agenda. Those wishing to address the board are asked to complete The request form, the blue sheets, should I continue saying this? I have the blue sheets. I think I shall. Submitted to the board clerk in order to be recognized by the Board of Education president. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. We have no blue sheets right now, so we will just address number 4. We do not have a quorum for the approval of the last meeting's minutes because these two guys were not here yet. So can we table this to the next meeting?
Yep.
And then we'll approve both at the same time, I guess? Yep. Okay. So number 5, action items. Can I get a motion to approve attendance of board members and superintendent at the NISBA's, New York State School Board Association Annual Convention Educational Expo in Buffalo, New York on October 26th to 28th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $5,100. Jesse first, Michelle second. Discussion. I highly recommend. It's incredibly informative. And a nice break from the
I agree.
Oh, did I say that?
I agree, if you're able to attend, I think it's a great experience. There's a lot of information. But I'm sure we'll be sending you emails shortly, and you'll get all this sort of the topics are covered during the convention, and there's like so many you can't possibly go to all the ones you want to go to. So it's nice to have several board members so you can sort of divide and conquer during one given time period, several topics that might be of interest to our district.
Yeah, it's just really a good experience.
So I guess, yeah, if you're interested in going, let Samantha know.
And you don't have to sign no.
Yeah.
No, it's during trunk or treat, I'll go. It's a very stressful time, I'm happy to miss that.
Yeah, so we just, we approve it now, we decide who's going later, and then we learn a bunch of good stuff in Buffalo this year. Maybe see a waterfall over here, there's one over there. All those in favor? Unanimous. Okay, and the next one, 5B, approve, can I get a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement by between the Averill Park Central School District and Don Lantry regarding an amended retirement date? Jess first, Jesse, or Michelle second.
Yeah.
Any discussion? And Jim, if I'm correct, this was just, we already approved her, we're just doing dates, right?
Just amending the date.
Yeah.
Some teacher retirement system stuff. Substance.
All those in favor? Unanimous, okay. Can I get a motion to approve memorandum of agreement by between the Averill Park Central School District and the APTA regarding extracurricular activities? Jesse first, I need a second. Need a second. Oh, APTA.
We are the Teachers Association, Averill Park Teachers Association,
That's the,
they're bargaining unit.
Oh, okay, I'll second.
Jess seconds. Any discussion?
This is just cleaning something up. This is a club. We go through the yearly process, and then we just realized when we're doing payments that esports was never officially approved. So we're just going back to backdate this one. It was just a clerical issue. So
It's very.
the person was approved. Everything's fine. Again, we try to keep everything above board and transparent. So we realized there was no official MOA given the authority to pay it. We just wanted to do the MOA retroactively. So fell through the cracks, just fixing the crack.
I had to learn what esports was. That was very, very popular.
Yeah, I know about
I mean, yeah.
Matt is our esports. Do you want to talk a little bit about esports?
Yeah, so it's essentially competitive video gaming. It's become quite the thing. I don't know if you've seen in the news, all the teams, college scholarships are now being given out for esports teams. People are making a profession out of it. So it's a way for, the way we view it's for kids that may not necessarily have other places to find a niche in school. This is another avenue to go down for kids to find. It's been very popular at the middle school level. Quite a number of kids come in after school. They compete against other schools on certain video games that are available through a league that we subscribe to. So they match you up and pair you up against other schools.
And there's like logic and problem solving aspects to a lot of these things, right? Like there's
It's a lot of teamwork, a lot of collaboration goes into it.
it's not like, when I first heard, I was like, this is like Atari, like we're playing like Space Invaders, but it's not like that. It's
Yeah,
way
a little more advanced.
It's made, yeah, it's more cognitive than that, so.
I like what you said, it's like, it's another, you said another opportunity for kids who maybe don't otherwise
Yeah.
have some extra, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that.
Sure.
All those in favor? That's unanimous. Excuse me. All right, and can I get a motion to approve the request for the Averill Park High School Girls Volleyball to participate in the following event out of state? Penfield Tournament, September 2, 2023 in Rochester, New York. There's the Penfield Invitational. Jess and Michelle seconds. Any discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not really out of state if it's in Rochester, so it's just to approve their travel to Rochester, right? Okay. We'll just take that part out.
Have a long detour north.
My mind was like.
But we can't go out of country, so we could go to Canada without approval either, so.
When did they start practicing? That they're gonna be ready for a tournament on September 6th?
August.
Yeah,
August,
dedication. I wish them luck, all right? All those in favor?
August 21st.
All right, that's unanimous. Passes. Okay, we have our consent, 6, 7, and 8 consent for business, personnel, and special education recommendations. We can make a motion to pass all that whole consent.
I'll make a motion to
First
do all three.
Is Jesse, Jess seconds, any discussion?
I have a couple things. I wanted to thank the Averill Park Education Foundation for their 3 donations. One's for flexible seating at Miller Hill. One is for playground equipment at West Sand Lake. And another donation is for educator enrichment grants. So we appreciate their continued support.
Any other
Michelle, you had asked a question earlier in regards to 6T?
Oh, are we doing this all at once?
Yeah, we're doing this all at
Yeah,
once.
yeah. Anything.
Anything on the,
Learn that, yes,
Yeah.
I did have a question on, for the T. So on that change order, I guess it's just, I'm kind of curious the process of it. Do we, well, it's 2 questions, twofold. One, do we put that up for bid for equipment? Would be one, and then 2, is it tied to state funding? Because I know there was a difference in how we process that.
So 2 things. The first question, it wasn't bid, but it's through a cooperative purchasing contract. It's a consortium that we're a part of, so the pricing is tied to that consortium. The reason that we initially awarded the bid directly to the company, but the reason we're now not going directly to the company and going through our contractors instead is because of the funding source. If we buy it straight as an equipment purchase, we won't get state aid, building aid back on it, but going through the general contractor, because then we get the building aid back on it. So it's not an addition to the project, we're just changing how it's being paid so that we can reap the benefits of the building aid.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding it correctly, that we weren't just trying to change it on a line item, but that there was funding tied to that.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that, Michelle. I have nothing. If anybody else is good, we can bring it to the votes. All those in favor, items, special education personnel and business. All those in favor, that's unanimous. Resolution. Okay. And we are doing this. Yeah, good. That's what, this one's important. Can I get a motion to approve that the Board of Education hereby continues the appointment and employment of James Franchini, Doctor of Education, is that right? Am I saying that right? As Superintendent of Schools for the period July 1, 2023 to June 30, 2028, and further approves the employment agreement dated July 5th, 2023, setting forth terms and conditions of such appointment and employment, and authorizes the president of the board to execute said agreement on behalf of the school district.
I will happily do that.
Jesse and Jess seconds. Any discussion?
No, I'm happy that we're moving forward with this.
Yeah, I just,
He's a valuable resource to this district.
yeah, the only comment I have is gratitude for Jim and the team. That's what I got. You guys finding this okay?
I'm sorry, just a minute.
Are you finding it?
Oh, yeah, because we just skipped like 6 pages.
Right, I didn't realize 6, 7, and 8 were all.
The consent agenda makes it seem like we'll be here all night, I mean, it's over. And then we get to hopefully approve Jim's new contract and keep him around for a few more years. Any questions? Okay. All those in favor of Jim's contract? It passes unanimously. Welcome back, Jim.
I feel like I never left.
And, okay, B, can I get a motion to approve the resolution for participating in cooperative bidding for cafeteria commodities for use in the Regional Food Service Management Program for the 2023-24 school year? So first is Michelle, and second is Jesse. Any discussion? All good, all those in favor? Unanimous? And so for this informational, Jim, who am I gonna pass that over to the change order to relocate the control panel? Do I pass that to?
Again, that's just an informational item to put on the board. Carrie could talk a little more, but he adopted a process that said through up to a certain threshold, you didn't need board approval, but just board knowledge, I guess, where we're gonna, they can let the board know after the fact, up to that threshold. So just following the policy of the amount. And so really just informing the board that it's occurred.
So in this case, do I read that and just read it into the record? Or
Sure.
in print, is it in the record? I'm happy.
It's probably fine.
So this item is just to acknowledge the phase 2 change order for Siemens to relocate a BMS control panel in the high school kitchen for $4,225.
Building management system.
Thank you. You guys know how I feel about that. That could have been anything. Okay, we're gonna move on to policy items. We have 2 that we are at the first reading. We can, do we want to move past those and do the next, rescind those, or should we?
I think we should talk about them at a minute.
So the first policy that's up for the first reading is policy 5406, student mental health and well-being.
So I just wanted to kind of let the board know why this is being proposed. We currently do not have a 5406 for mental health, but we have one for physical health. And so the policy committee felt like mental health is equally as important as physical health. So we put together, NISBA sent us a sample of this mental health and well-being policy, and we went through it and constructed one that we thought was good for Averill Park. And that's what this is, that's what we put forth to the entire board, is for us to adopt a mental health policy, well-being policy, as well as in addition to the physical health one that we already adopted at a previous meeting. So that's why that's sort of separated, because the two, the physical was very focused on physical health, and so we just wanted to keep it separate.
And can I actually just point, like, the way that the policy, this sort of section of the agenda works is these are not, it's not like the resolution where we're saying right out of the gate, we're intending to have a vote on this, we make the motions and discuss, and then we vote. These, we may get to that, Jesse, correct me if I get this wrong.
Yeah.
We may get to that, so if a policy that the policy committee's been working on has gotten to a point where everybody is satisfied, it's gone out to the greater board, everybody else has weighed in, and they're satisfied with that policy, then you would vote to approve it,
Yeah, without
to adopt it, yeah.
without additional reading.
Without additional reading. I believe 2 readings is the norm, 3 readings is, when you get to the third, the intention is that you would be at the point of adopting it after the third, or at the third reading. So that's, it's not quite the same as.
So we will get to see all of these and read them before we vote on them.
Yes,
At some length, probably.
right.
Okay.
So if you haven't had the opportunity to look at this, they are in the Board Docs portal. It's on this meeting's agenda, and if you have questions about Board Docs and navigating, you want to ask the pro over there, Linda.
It's just some time.
Because it's not,
So it's in the library?
It says the library, that's where you'll find it, you'll see policy.
yeah, you'll see the policies under the library. And sometimes when you click on it, you have to like scroll around to find where you actually see it. Like on my computer, it's different than on my iPad,
Mobile.
like where it exists. So yeah, if you have trouble, just ask. But
Okay.
if you have not had the time to read this, and I will say, I'm not going to suggest that we approve it tonight, because I think we just need the time for you guys to.
Right, I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't think this one's on there, unless it's not in vertical order.
Well, what's that?
It's on the agenda, they're on
It's
the
on the
agenda.
agenda, though. Right, so these 2 are on the agenda. The other ones we're working on, I think, are in the library.
Gotcha.
But sometimes I find on Word Docs, if you're in it for a while and you're poking around, sometimes you have to log out and log back in because it stops you. It reaches a point where like, you're done. You're not gonna be able to look at anything anymore. So you have to like log out and log back in, and then you can access some of those files that you couldn't before. I don't know why it does that, but that's what it does for me. And so because I think we're not going to be approving these policies tonight, which is fine. 8140, the unsafe school transfer choice, is like when this is very rare, and it probably will never happen in Averill Park, let's hope. But if there's, the reason why we're including this in Averill Park's policies is because we have multiple elementary schools. So if one is deemed unsafe, then students have, and their families have an option to move to a different one. And so that's why we would be adopting this policy.
And that is tied to New York State regulations, that if you have multiple schools at a given level, you have to have a method by which, if one was deemed unsafe, that a student could transfer.
So that's dictated by state education department. So
And so we don't necessarily, we don't need to make a motion to table anything because we're not voting on it. So we will, this will stand as our discussion for the first readings on these, and we'll have a second reading
the next time.
at our next meeting.
Great.
Jesse,
So yeah, the next set, I would like to make a motion to rescind policy 5020.4, 5153, 5254, 5314, 5314 regulation, 5315, 5440, and 5440 regulation for that. And so I'd like to make a motion to do that, and if we can have a second, then we can move that.
Jess.
Okay.
Yes, did you get that one?
I did, yes.
Okay, so, we're rescinding these policies because these policies are, so the policy committee has been marching through each section of the policies. We just finished adopting all the policies for the 5,000 series. And what happened is during that process, we discovered there was some policies that are no longer needed, actually fall under a different policy, or there's a couple other reasons why we don't require them anymore. So this is part of, now that we have all the 5,000 series adopted, except for the 5406, which we'll talk about next meeting, we just want to clean up the policy manual and take those out that we no longer need. And that's why we're rescinding these several policies. Did I miss anything, Kim?
No, but when NISBA sends us the new series, they also send a list of recommended policies to delete. So just some examples, like 5153 was adopted in 2004. So some of them are just very outdated. So they, they'll tell us they're outdated, they're not essential. They give us reasons why we should consider rescinding them. It's really a cleanup process.
Any questions about that? All those in favor? We are to rescind, and I don't have to go, it's the policy cited in C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. There's two versions. Yeah, so it's on the floor.
Yeah.
All those in favor to rescind the aforementioned policies? That's unanimous. Okay. Is our second public comment for topics not on today's agenda? I have no blue sheets. So we'll just move on to board member reports. Jesse, why don't you start with board member reports?
I just want to say welcome to Jess and Michelle. I'm very glad you guys are here, and I'm looking forward to working this year with you folks. And I just want to say Happy New Year for our new school year. And I'm looking forward to another good year with our world-class district. So that's all I have to say.
So I'm used to the president being Jesse going last. So if you guys want to do a board member report, just comments, anything you want to say. Jess and then
I just wanted to say thank you both for being so welcoming and already such a resource at our very first meeting and prior to the very first meeting. And also, just as we were talking about the podcast earlier, I was able to listen to the most recent one with the top 3 students, and I thought that was amazing. They were so well spoken. They had such great feedback to give, and it's really nice being able to listen to those.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. So we're excited to be here and looking forward to a great year.
I'm really psyched to have you guys with us, and great job on first meeting. You definitely did way more than I was capable of doing on my first meeting, so that's a big plus. I just also want to acknowledge how much goes on over the summer. We're all sort of, getting outside and doing our thing and off who knows where. And there's a whole team of people who are still making the district run through the summer, and the summer math, summer school. There's activities and food, and so just thank you for still being here and making it happen. That's all I have. I believe we are going to have an executive session. Can I get a motion to adjourn to?
Executive session.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn to
Okay,
executive
first,
session.
I need a second. Jess, second, and all those in favor to go into executive session. Okay, that passes, and we don't have any reason to come back after executive session, so good night, public.
Good night, public.